All right, so today we're unpacking a wild, 600-year-old vision that tells us a timeless truth. Corruption isn't just one bad person. Nope, it's a whole system, a network that can worm its way into an entire society. And believe it or not, it all starts with a dream.
So our story comes from this incredible medieval poem called Piers Plowman. And it all kicks off when our narrator just falls asleep and has this vision that asks this exact question. Now, you've got to understand, this isn't just a story. It's an allegory. That means every single character is a stand-in for some big idea, and everything they do is meant to show us a deeper truth about how the world really works.
Okay, so we're in the dream, and the first thing our guy sees is this woman off to his left, and wow, she is just impossible to ignore. And get this, she's surrounded by these really shady characters, literally named falsehood and flattery.
I mean, the narrator is just totally stunned. She's decked out in the finest fur, these bright scarlet robes, her fingers are laced with gold wire, and she's just dripping with rubies and sapphires. It's not just that she's rich. No, this is something else. This is a show. It's an overwhelming, totally seductive display of power.
So who is she? We find out her name is Lady Meed. And her name, you guys, is the key to this whole thing. See, meed was this tricky word back then. On one hand, it's a good thing. It's your paycheck, a fair reward for a job well done. But it's also the other thing, the bribe, the dirty money, the absolute heart of corruption. And she, well, she is both of those things at once.
So you're probably wondering, right? Is she good or is she bad? Which side is winning? Well, all you have to do is look at her family tree. Her dad is a guy named False, and the poem says he has a fickle tongue and has, and I'm quoting here, never said a true thing since he came to earth. So yeah, deception is quite literally in her blood.
All right, now we get to the main event of this whole dream. It's a wedding. But trust me, this is not your typical happy occasion. It's a shocker. What we're about to see is a powerful, totally corrupt alliance being cemented because, yep, Lady Meed is getting married.
And this is where it gets really twisted. This is no fairy tale romance. We find out that Lady Meed was actually supposed to marry a good guy, a character named Truth. But instead, after listening to all the sweet talk from flattery, she's marrying this total villain named False Fickletongue, who, by the way, is basically the devil's kid. So think about it. Bribery and falsehood, they're not just working together anymore, they're about to become family.
So to make this whole nightmare official, to make it legally binding, another character steps up. This one's name is Liar, and he's holding a legal charter, basically the wedding contract. And guess who drafted it? A lawyer named Guile, of course.
And you have got to hear what's in this contract. Their wedding gift, it's not land, it's not gold, none of the usual stuff. No, their gift is control over all of human weakness. Their dowry is literally a deed to the 7 deadly sins, all parceled out like property. It's their own personal kingdom of vice.
And you know, like any contract, you got to read the fine print. And here it is. In exchange for ruling this empire of sin, they have 1 year. Exactly 1 year. And then their souls belong to Satan forever. So the stakes here aren't just about power on earth. We're talking eternal damnation. But not everybody is on board with this wedding, as you can imagine. There's a character named Theology, and he is just horrified. He sees what's happening. He knows that Meed, reward, she could be a force for good. She could be used to encourage people to do the right thing. But instead, she's marrying a total deceiver, and in doing so, she's making corruption itself seem legitimate.
So, seeing this disaster about to happen, another character, Soothness, which is just an old way of saying truth, he doesn't just sit back and watch. No way. He digs his heels into his horse, blows right past the entire wedding party, and makes a mad dash for the king's court. He's got to expose this whole conspiracy before it's too late.
And the king's reaction? Oh, it is swift and it is furious. He completely explodes. He swears that if he can get his hands on false or flattery, he will be roke, which means avenged. He says he'll do them hang by the halse, which in modern English means he is going to hang them by the neck. He is not messing around. And he's not just making empty threats either. He immediately issues a super detailed arrest warrant for the entire corrupt crew. It's like, put falseness in chains, cut off Guile's head, put Liar in the public stocks, and bring Lady Meed directly to me. The message could not be clearer. Justice is on its way, and it is going to be brutal.
But here's the twist. Just as the king's men are heading out, there's another character listening in at the door. His name is Dread. And as soon as he hears the king's orders, he bolts. He runs to warn False and the whole gang that they need to get out of there and they need to do it now.
And this is where the poem gets really, really sharp in its criticism of society. Because where do these villains run to hide? Well, Falseness doesn't go hide in some dark cave. Nope, he runs straight to the friars, a religious order, and they just welcome him with open arms.
And what about Guile, the crafty lawyer? He takes off and finds the merchants, and they're happy to have him. They dress him up like a simple apprentice, a shop boy, and hide him in plain sight right in their shops, serving customers. So, deceit finds a very cozy home in the world of business.
Now, Liar has a tougher go of it. He gets chased through the streets, nobody wants him. He only finally finds a place to hide when the pardoners, and these were church officials who literally sold forgiveness for money, they take pity on him and pull him into their house.
Okay, pay attention because this might be the most important part of the entire dream. The bad guys don't just vanish, they integrate. They weave themselves into the fabric of society. Just look at Liar's new career. The partners don't just give him a place to crash, they weaponize his skills. They send him to churches to sell fake pardons. Then he gets work with doctors and pharmacists who figure out his talent for deceit is pretty useful. And finally, he's welcomed by the friars, who give him a robe, a uniform, making him look just like one of the good guys. So the point here is huge. Lying isn't just hiding in society, it's being given a job and a promotion by society.
So let's recap. We had the king's furious orders, the mad scramble to catch the bad guys, warrants for their execution. And after all that, how many of these architects of corruption actually get caught? One. Just one.
The only person who doesn't get away is Lady Meed herself, the grand prize that everyone was fighting over, the living, breathing symbol of bribery and reward. She's the one who gets captured. They find her just weeping and wringing her hands, totally terrified as they arrest her.
And that leaves us with the story's final, chilling question. Sure, the king captured the symbol of corruption, Lady Meed. But with her actual partners in crime, falsehood, guile, and liar, now completely blended into the church, the marketplace, and the courts, who really won here? Did justice actually win the day, or did corruption just get smarter, finding a much better place to hide, right out in plain sight?